What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this POV review by Autobahn. My name is Martin, and today I'm comparing my own M340i Touring versus the all-new AMG C43 Estate. So first of all, we're going to start off with the looks. M340i with this M Performance rear end, with the M Performance tailpipes, the end pieces at least. Quality wise, finishing wise, this is just horrible. I think I always envy people who just have a 320i with an M Sport rear bumper with just two round exhaust tips. Looks way better than this. I really don't understand why they didn't fix this with the facelift model. So that would be the car you would compare this to, the LCI M340i G21, but due to production problems we cannot have that press car at the moment, so that's why I brought my own 2019 M340i. So I do really like the G21. I think it's a beautiful, timeless design, really nice. But in one thing Mercedes really succeeded with the new C-Class, especially the Estate. It is a gorgeous car to look at. I think the design is really one of the best ever. It's just such a mature looking, really well designed car. I really like it, especially with these special AMG wheels. What are they, 20s? Yep, 20-inch, and massive AMG brakes behind that. Now with the M340i you also get M Performance wheels, but you get M Performance brakes as well, but they're just not that good. If you drive them back to back, you really notice the difference in brake performance, and the Mercedes really is the winner there. That's also the case when you compare them exterior wise. I think the Mercedes, and Huub agrees and Max agrees, is the more beautiful car of the two. So big props to Mercedes. We do have a problem. This car is brand spanking new, and we just did a top speed run on the Autobahn, and the rear diffuser came loose and it will not pop back in. So never had that issue with the M340i. So we're going to start with the 3 Series, have Max drive the C-Class or Huub, whoever feels like it. And yeah, let's just compare the two while driving. But before we go, we are going to compare the engines. Of course we are, because that's the main difference between these cars. The M340i comes with the legendary B58 engine, 3 liter, straight 6, single turbo, 374 horsepower. And with the newer models you also get a mild hybrid system. Doesn't really add any power. It still is 374, but it's such a lovely engine. I mean, a straight 6 is just pretty much unbeatable for a 4-cylinder. So this is a 2 liter turbocharged engine from the A45. Pretty cool looking, I would say. It's a lot better looking than the 6-cylinder of the BMW, I have to admit. Big strap race in the middle. So this is a 4-cylinder, and it also has a little electric engine which helps the turbo at low RPM. Quite a massive turbo, which is why it can do 408 horsepower from a 2 liter. And then it has an extra 14 electric horses, and it's combined with the 9G Tronic multi-clutch plate gearbox from Mercedes, which is just not as good as the classic 8-speed ZF from the BMW. 0 to 100 should do 4.7 seconds, which we are going to test against 4.6 for the BMW. But this is 40 kilos lighter, which might have something to do with that. I guess you're all wondering what the performance of the two is like. Let's start it up. Now that's not a bad sound, right? That's a pretty good sound, actually. Now I have to admit, I added a catted downpipe and an Venturi intake to this car, so other than that it's completely stock. Let's go. So I always use sport individual mode, which is, let me show you guys, damping in sport mode, steering in comfort, engine in sport mode, transmission in sport mode. So the interior, I really like the G20 interior, especially with iDrive 7. Nowadays you get iDrive 8, so that's the big screen going from here to here, big display. I like this better, this more conservative design. I've also added these M Performance carbon interior parts, which is just bare carbon fiber, unlacquered. It's really nice to like touch and go over with your fingers. This as well, the steering wheel inlay and the pedal shifters also in carbon fiber. All right, let's get going. Let's go for manual mode for the gearbox and put ESP in sport mode. So the ZF 8-speed and B58 engine, it's a magical combination, even though BMW decided not to stretch it, not even a bit, because then it would be too fast. The problem with the M340i is that it's already so fast that it, you know, it has to be less, significantly slower than the M3, which is why the gearbox is just okay-ish, you know. It's good if you just put it in drive and let it do all the work, but if you go for a more dynamic driving style, it kind of lets down. So when you have these tuned, these gearboxes, they are absolutely amazing, like a dual clutch, but in stock form they're just okay. So 0 to 100, 4.6 seconds. Let's see what they will do. There goes the C-Class. And that's 100. So that was 0 to 100 in 4.6. Spot on factory claim. And now let's give that a try with the C-Class. Okay, so now what we need to do is, we're in sport mode already, that's basically it. So maybe combine that with ESP also in sport mode. That's basically it, right? Let's give it a try. We have to be in drive. Jesus Christ, guys, I've been doing this for 13 years. Oh, that's fake. Oh. 0 to 100 in 4.6 as well. So on that front they are really equal. But that's the only thing they are equal at. The whole driving experience is just absurdly different. It's so much more vague and busy in the Mercedes than it is in the BMW. The BMW has like a really composed, calm driving experience. It's really doing it without any fuzz. This is all over the place. Man, it's a busy car. I mean, the engine is a lot more aggressive. It really needs all that turbo pressure. The straight six, it has that displacement, 3 liters versus 2 liters, so it doesn't really have to do anything to get it moving. It's much more of a smooth driving experience, much more linear, and you have power all over the rev range. And this really has like a build up and but that's not why it's busy. It's the suspension that kind of lets the car down. It's such a all over the place setup. I really don't get why they went for this. It is quite soft in the suspension, but the damping is really hard and the car just is all over the place. The steering is really uncommunicative, and I don't see the AMG-ness in this. It is a lot different compared to the previous C43, which was also a bit let down by its suspension, but I guess that's a bit down to the fact that these are like performance light models. That's an M340i. This is an C43, not a C63, and they intentionally make the suspension worse, which is quite obvious. I'm going to have Max overtake me, and then let's see if I can keep up with him. Here we go. Okay, up until now it's pretty equal. Now he's pulling a little. I think that sound is because of that diffuser part. That's 260 already. That's the slightly higher top speed of the AMG. We have the optional driver spec, so we can do 265 instead of 250. 100 to 200, this did slightly worse than the M340i, which, you know, is simply down to the fact that that is a straight 6. It has more displacement, more cylinders. It's much easier for that car to do long runs on the Autobahn. This is, again, quite busy. It needs to be in the right gear, at the right RPM, the right turbo pressure to really get all the performance. What I do really like are these AMG brakes. They are so much better than the M Performance brakes. They are massive, they are ventilated, they have big calipers on them, and that's simply not the case with the M Performance M340i. It's not without reason that BMW offers an M Performance brake caliper and disc upgrade for that car, which I'm seriously considering. That's how bad it actually is. So the interior, yeah, it is really nice. It's typical Mercedes nowadays. Lovely materials, and I just don't like this fake carbon fiber in an AMG. Seats really comfortable, well supported. So yeah, I think interior wise I'm going to give it to the Mercedes, especially considering the fact that we have to compare it to the iDrive 8 LCI model M340i. So back in the M340i. So guys, let me know which interior is best. Is it the Mercedes or the BMW? I think I'm going to give it to the Mercedes. Man, what a beauty of a car that C-Class is. I'm gaining on it. Look at that! So it's just when that C43 is at the right spot that it will keep up with this. But if it's not, it's in big trouble. I mean, this is such a fluent drivetrain, which the C43 just is not. It's a very busy drivetrain, it's a busy car, which you might think is a good thing for an AMG, but it's not really an exciting car. For that, the gearbox is really not good enough. Same goes for this. I mean, this ZF 8-speed is also a bit of a slugger, but if you just let it do all the work, it's perfectly fine, which is just not the case with the Mercedes. Now both cars are on Michelin Pilot 4 tires. And for me, the high-speed stability of this suspension setup is just a bit nicer. This is top speed, by the way, 266, something like 262 GPS. You can see that the Mercedes is pulling away slightly because of its 265 GPS top speed, which is a pretty cool feature considering it's an estate. You wanted to take it on a holiday with the family and just do like 265 on the Autobahn, you know. That's why you want fast estate cars. I think it's really a matter of preference, not preference of brand, but preference of drivetrain driving experience for the M340i versus aesthetics, infotainment, design with the Mercedes. But when you look at the price of the two, you can see that the 4-cylinder C43 is actually a lot more expensive than the 6-cylinder M340i, and for me that is really pushing my final conclusion towards the side of the BMW. I think it's an amazing proposition, it's an amazing car that you are easily going to upgrade to a fantastic car, and because of all that, for me the BMW is the winner. Well, surprise, surprise, I own it. And I still own it after nearly 2 years, which is pretty special for someone like me, which is a testament of how much I like it. Well, thank you guys for watching. If you want to see a more elaborate review of the C43, click right here. And for one for the M340i, click right here. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.